Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney. Guys, we're recording this only a few days before the end of the year, and by the time it comes out, the year will be even closer to being over.
And who knows how many people will have died by then.
Yeah, between me setting up my equipment and pressing record, Debbie Reynolds died. So that was horrible.
She did. She passed. I mean, I read that she'd gone into the hospital, but
yep, she's gone.
Jesus.
Right after. I didn't used to be one of those people who was like this. I think this started a few years ago. People were like, 2013 is the worst. I hate this year. And I was always like, that's stupid. I mean, a year is, a revolution of the Earth around the sun, so it is a thing. But mostly it's just an abstract concept that we give.
Yeah, they don't have attitudes. It wasn't like 2014 was the saucy one, 2015 was the grumpy one, and 2016 was the murderous one.
Right. It's all a conspiracy by the calendar salesman.
It's all arbitrary, but it's human nature to find patterns and to anthropomorphize things.
It's not. Let's not say it's arbitrary, because it was very important for early agrarians to know the passage of the seasons and to be able to actually chart a year. It was very important that we had these things.
Seasons don't seem real to me. We don't have them here, so I just have to take your word for that.
Okay.
I didn't used to be, like I said, I didn't used to be one of those people. Whenever people would say that, I'm like, oh, shut up. This is stupid. Let's not even. But this year, I don't think it's an entity or anything, but this is, I feel comparatively, a pretty shitty year, worldwide and especially in my country. So we're ready to say goodbye to it, I guess.
I actually saw some really hopeful breakdowns of here's all the good stuff that happened. We've cured this disease, and literacy's up to a new high, and crime is down, and there's a bunch of stuff that you can honestly put a spin on it. And I came prepared with a couple of things I wanted to talk about on the positivity front. So it's not a total wash.
Is one of them about how the author of Watership Down also died?
No, that's also sad. I think a lot of this has to do with the fact of just the news cycle. Bad news is very clickable, and so everyone's always clicking and sharing it. So bad stuff has always happened, obviously, but now it feels like it never stops, and I don't know if that's ever going to go away. Right? 2017 is not going to have no celebrity deaths. It's not going to have no bad laws passed, no bad people elected. That's all going to still happen, and we're going to know about it instantly. So I worry about just the burnout of constant bad news.
Well, celebrity, I mean, how many, big celebrity deaths is kind of a dice roll, but I will say that, in all likelihood, politically, 2017 is going to be even worse, because this was only, this was the starting pistol for that, but that was this year.
But unless every news outlet gets together and every day publishes, hey, things are pretty good in West Tennessee today, things that people would never click, it's just going to seem like the world is constantly on fire, and either we have to just adjust to that or be miserable forever.
Who are you, and what have you done with Austin?
Am I not normally positive?
No. No, you're not. No.
Okay. I try. I guess I haven't been doing a very good job. I try to talk about things that I like and things that are cool and interesting and artistic.
Let me put it this way, Austin. On a personal level, you're really positive. You have good things to say about your life. You've got good friends, good everything. It's just when somebody says the word capitalism, something happens to you.
I've been so pumped. On Christmas motherfucking Eve, Run the Jewels dropped a new album, and they have a song, I think it's called Tell the Stockholders Kill Your Masters or something. And I'm like, Killer Mike just needs to release a song called Fuck Rich People, all caps. Let me on that track, Mike. Mike, let's make this happen. We need to collab on something. I can't do any music, no, but we'll get there soon, because I have musical thoughts, I have film thoughts, I have video game thoughts. I think 2016 has salvageable parts.
Okay.
They all do.
Yeah.
I'm still alive, so obviously,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's some kind of saving grace in 2016.
Yeah. Austin and I briefly talked about what we were going to say on this podcast, and he was like, you should like talk about all the like the top 10 best things, but I don't do anything.
Yeah, Leon's like, I didn't play any video games that came out this year. I don't listen to music, and while I did watch films, I'm saving that for the thing that makes money.
Right. That's exactly what I said. So like I have plenty of thoughts as it relates to film this year, but I've literally been building up to an episode about that all year.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to drop like what was my favorite movie or anything just now.
Well, we'll see what happens.
It was a really good year for music.
Yeah, it was amazing. We'll get there. If you guys hear any barking while we're recording this, there is a doggo in my house.
Also, if you hear any extra loud barking, that's probably just me coughing and sounding like a seal.
Okay.
That sounds adorable. My friend came over, dropped their dog off, and left. So now I think he's just kind of walking around my house right now.
Is he a good boy?
It's the racist dog, or the formerly racist dog.
All right, so he's a reforming boy.
Reformed.
Yeah. Yeah, he went through the system, and it works, guys. Prison reform. What are we talking about? Positivity.
No.
Like
music.
There had to have been a year that was unsalvageable, right? Like 1346, like just nothing good happened. Someone trawl Wikipedia looking for like notable events in years, and just there has to be a year where nothing good happened.
The Cubs won.
Yeah.
Good for them.
There you go. Although not as good for, fans of the other team.
Well, no, but I mean, there's got to be something said for, hey, congratulations, guys, you finally did it.
Although,
Austin,
yeah.
I always want to let you know this. When you said like, what about 13 something? I googled the worst year. Every result is about this year.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I'm not joking.
There wasn't a lot of clickbait in the year 1346, Leon. I don't know how far back Google goes.
I understand that, but usually when I type something like about looking for something
this one
historical,
weird trick to avoid the bubonic plague was discovered by.
I understand, but no, I was actually expecting some sort of historical article at least, but no.
I'm sure one has been written. It's just the way search engine optimization works. Is you got to get a lot of people talking about it, which is why if you go by the algorithms that control the internet, I'm sure One Direction is the best band of all time.
I think also, Austin, what you have to understand is that given the amount of advances that we have, like socially, technologically, artistically, communicatively, like everything, that we should expect every year to be better than the last one, because it's easier for people to get health care, and it's easier for people to get the things that they need: food and water and shelter and education and learning, and like this all becomes easier.
But what if they don't deserve it, Johnny?
Google says the best band ever is the Beatles. So
okay,
you're wrong.
I mean, I don't even know if I agree with that. They're very good, but depends what you're looking for. I have here written on my list, my little sticky note that I write things on. It says, "Come Yelp." I remember what that is.
It's all I want to talk about.
So you guys are aware of Yelp, right?
You're talking about the website,
yes.
right? Not the noise?
Yeah, it's like the app and I think like the website where you like rate, I think restaurants or like locations, right?
Yeah.
It could be literally anything that you can buy stuff from.
So it came up in conversation earlier this week. I guess it was like an entrepreneurial idea. What if there was a Yelp for cum? Just use that. Because
like between 0 and 1 stars?
I don't listen. I can't account for the conversations me and my friends have. It just occurred to me I've gotten mixed reviews before, and so maybe some people would find that information useful. They're like, Dave, no, salty as hell, hated it, 1 star. Bill, banging. He had his game right, pineappled all up, 5 stars. I don't know. Maybe someone would find that useful. It was just an idea I had, so I wrote it on my sticky note. It was probably 4 a.m. I'm going to cross it off now.
Austin, the problem with this idea is that you're assuming that there's a market out there of people who are like, I think I would really like to taste so-and-so's cum.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a byproduct like something you've like begrudgingly.
I am going ahead and going to say that it is usually a byproduct of just a particular activity.
You guys need freakier friends.
Look,
yeah,
I don't. Look,
Austin,
I don't know.
you don't know what I get up to, so don't pretend.
I think I wrote this down mostly to make Leon uncomfortable. I thought to myself, I bet Leon will hate this. We have a lot of conversations.
I'm amused by the conversation, but I feel like, much like the top 10 songs of the year, I have just nothing to contribute.
You don't have strong cum opinions.
Not especially.
Let me ask you a related question. How was your Christmas?
Speaking of cum.
Yeah. It was good. It wasn't good. I mean, I went to see Collateral Beauty. That was not a good movie.
I heard.
But I, specifically went to see it because I heard it was one of the worst of the year, and like I said, I am making a video about things that happened this year, and so I felt it was necessary. I super hated it and was so inspired that I made my first vlog about it. And that's how I felt. And then I was basically my plan originally was to go see it and then see Passengers, which is also said to be quite bad. But I was just it drained a little bit out of me, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done for the day. I'm going home, and I'm doing and I can't remember what I did the rest of that day, besides upload the vlog.
I like how your schedule, you've engineered it in such a way is that every week when you go to post Renegade Cut, it comes right up against Dice Funk, and so it's like a race you've invented for yourself to get that uploaded before your computer is tied up. Fun.
It's just for some reason, basically I did basically I did some analytics and I checked some things, and apparently like Tuesday night is the best night for me at a certain time is the best time for me to release my episodes for whatever reason. It probably has something to do with when my audience is awake. And so I was like, oh, that's also literally the time that I have to do Dice Funk, but that's a coincidence. I think
I upload Dice Funk on Sunday, not because of analytics. It's probably actually a very bad time to upload stuff, but I like
it. Super is. I'm just gonna tell you,
it is 100%. But I like that people could have the new episode waiting for them for their commute on Monday, or like going to school, going to work, whatever. So I like that. Like I personally like when I have all my podcasts in a row on Monday morning. So that's when I try to put it out for people, even if that's not
if
the
you
most
have
popular.
if you have an hour and a half commute, I mean, I guess.
Well,
but
45 minutes there, 45 minutes back. Who knows how to do?
Leon, is a strong out-of-the-gate viewership truly important? Is that like when the video drops, your views have to go up right away? Or is it like...
No, it is important because a lot of people subscribe to a lot of things. And if yours is buried under 4 other things that they want to watch, they're not going to watch it.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing about the show. We always have this argument about whether or not people care this much about the inside baseball stuff of this. But I'll just say real quick, I have like 22,000 subscribers, which is acceptable. But 22,000 people do not watch each episode. That's like an almost impossible like upper limit. So you have to get as many people eyeballs on it as quickly as possible.
You see, I always watch your videos, but I don't watch them when they show up.
That's fine, and that's your schedule. But the internet moves at the speed of now, and I have to take into account that some people subscribe to huge amounts of things, but don't watch every episode of the huge amounts of things they subscribe to, which explains why, like I said, 22,000 subscribers, about 10,000 hits per.
Have you thought about adding a romance subplot?
Who do you ship Leon with?
Me, usually.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, nice. Johnny, how was your Christmas?
Pretty good for the most part. I got to meet my nephew. He is a small person.
Tiny.
Like a small person. Like You know, if I was at the gym and I was like, quick, I need to work my biceps, give me something to lift, and somebody put this person in my hand, I'd be like, bro, do you even lift? Because he's tiny. But I gotta tell you, I was pretty pleased because he was very, very calm. Because as I understand it, the first week after birth, they're like, oh shit, this reality thing is just too much. I just gotta sleep it off.
I mean, I feel that way. I'm 26 now.
That's the thing. I think that it must be even more overwhelming to an infant, to a baby, to a newborn baby even, that reality is really nothing more than an elaborate hangover. So for the whole, I was there. I went down on Saturday to my ma's house, and we came back later than I had intended to on Tuesday. But we had the big family dinner. We did a gift exchange because we're good little capitalists. And then we, on Boxing Day, beat the crap out of each other and went to the emergency room because healthcare's free in Canada for the most part.
If you didn't say it, I was going to say it.
Yeah. So I thought this was actually really sweet. So it's a nephew. It's a little baby boy. All right. And I've talked on the podcast before about how my father passed away back in 2006. Something I don't believe I've talked about is that my sister's husband, his mother passed away around the same time. So they were actually able to kind of bond over this, loss of a very dear family member and things like that. So, both my father's name and his mother's name are the little infant's middle names, and I thought that was really sweet.
Oh, that's nice.
That touched my heart. That touched my blood pump. Right around here. Oh, it was cute.
Johnny had a really emotional holiday. I just went and saw a dumb Will Smith movie. I feel like that was way better.
I usually like my Christmases are usually pretty intense for like a number of reasons. It was Christmas was always really important for my dad. That was like, my dad was not very good at verbally emoting. It was really difficult for him to tell you that he loved you. If he liked you, he would joke around you and he would like offer you, a drink or food or things like that. Like if you were just somebody who came into the house, he didn't speak to somebody about his feelings very well. So when Christmas came around, it was really important to him because it was a chance for him to try and show non-verbally that he really cared about us. I'm not like, my dad wasn't an asshole. He was a very funny man. It was very smart. He was a good friend, too, as I grew up. I mean, not when I was a kid, because that relationship of having your parent as a friend doesn't really work out when you need limits set for you. But when I became an adult, when I started hitting my early 20s and things like that, he actually became a reasonably good friend to me. And so when Christmas came around, that was kind of like his chance to show that he loved instead of telling, And so when he passed, it was always really important for us to keep Christmas going, to make sure that it was still as big a deal to us as it was to him. So we had like, we did a slow roast ham on Christmas Eve. And then we got together with the extended family on Christmas night and had way too much wine and ate a lot of turkey and stuffing. And I brought our immersion circulator over. So on Christmas Eve, I put a brisket in the immersion circulator to go for 48 hours. So then on Boxing Day, we had brisket and freshly baked bread and like everything, But like Christmas needs a lot of different things to Stephanie. I don't want to get into it really, but it was a time of tumult for her. yeah, Christmas was never really something that jived with her. So when it comes around and I'm like, let's go to my ma's for 3 days and we'll sit down and watch Die Hard and then Big Trouble in Little China for some reason. And we'll just relax. Our attitudes often clash. And it can be really a high tension time for us. But I mean, this year there was a lot of tension, but I mean, there was a new baby, and I got a cast iron frying pan from my mom, which is so fucking heavy. So now I know that, if somebody comes into my apartment and I need to defend myself, and for some reason my sword is, out of commission, they're getting the cast iron frying pan.
Johnny, you really seem like the kind of guy who has a sword.
I was about to say it. I don't want to be mean, but you said it, so I can agree.
No,
now.
I do. But
you're a sword boy.
I do have a sword. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
man.
Johnny, you seem like the. I'm sorry.
How would you imagine my sword looked? Both of you. I'm curious. And we're not talking about penises, just so we're clear.
Okay, first of all, the idea that you only have one is a little surprising to me. Yeah, I in my mind, yeah, it's something Asian.
Okay, all right. What kind of Asian?
Are
we talking
the actual?
Are we talking Jim sword? Are we talking
look, I'm talking
Chinese
about
saber? Are we talking full on katana here?
I'm clearly talking about the thing that Leonardo has. So,
okay, so you think I have a katana then?
Well, although Kung Fu is Chinese and
yes.
katana is Japanese.
Yes,
so.
That's right. But you would think I would have a Leonardo sword.
In my mind, that's what it looks like.
All right, Austin?
Okay, I don't know.
Well, welcome to the Sword Cast, where we're talking about all kinds of different swords. This week, scimitars. I think I said the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to mean specifically the sword, which is the propellant of that plot. If you recall, that movie is about a sword.
I do recall, but I can't remember which one it is specifically, because when I think Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, all I think of is the Chinese saber.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna Google Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Okay, no, that's actually a different movie.
We're taking this all the way. Yeah, I think the one you just talked about is the Netflix exclusive sequel.
Yes, it is. Okay, all right. It
my
looks.
point
It
is, it's
looks
not
to
a...
me. It looks to me. I'm just gonna copy an image here. Okay. All right.
My point is, it's not a claymore. I don't imagine you as a medieval knight. It's something slender and good for your moves.
Okay. Is this the sword you're thinking of?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, that's called a gym sword. All right.
Okay.
No. Neither one of those swords is the sword I own.
We just went on a long sword journey.
Although interestingly enough, Austin, that is the kind of sword I am actually trained to use.
Okay. It's a crazy world out there.
Let's all just list sword names for another hour, but not discuss them, just the names.
Yeah. You just want to say things like Wakizashi?
Yeah. Seriously, Johnny, what is your sword?
All right, okay. I'm gonna find an image of it here because I took an image of it a while ago, but
It was for reference. It was for context for your nudes.
That's
you got to give scale.
That's exactly what it is. Okay, I'm uploading right now. All right, Leon's probably gonna recognize this.
Yeah.
It is the one at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a nodachi, basically. It's like a short, straight Japanese sword.
It's a cane sword.
Yeah.
It's a Zatoichi sword.
Yeah.
Hell, yeah.
We've all learned a lot today about swords.
I think we have.
By which I mean...
more than anyone needs to know about swords.
Die in a fire, Austin.
A completely unnecessary weapon in the 21st century, but still the coolest one.
Okay, but I'm a burglar. I break into the Maloney residence. Motherfucker comes at me with that sword. I probably flee. I think he wins. Joke's on me.
Right. Well, I mean, unless it's an armed robbery, in which case,
then I shoot him 1,000 times. Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you come in with a gun, you almost hope someone comes at you with a sword, because then you win, and you have like a story.
I don't think you should be telling that story.
No, well, maybe after you get arrested for it, then you have the coolest story in the prison yard.
Oh dear.
I don't know how this turned into this.
I guess the moral of the story is that both of you really want to see me get shot in an armed robbery 1,000 times.
I'm just saying.
And then the next week afterwards, you'll be like, that's what he gets for bringing a sword to a gunfight.
Well, I mean, you did. All right.
No, I didn't bring a sword to a gunfight. Somebody brought a gunfight to my sword.
That's true. That's true. Really, it's not fair. Look, I don't know where this all happened.
That's why I bring tigers to my armed robbery. No one sees them coming. And also, you probably won't also have a tiger, so you can't match me tiger to tiger. I'm going to win this fight.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like rock, paper, scissors, tiger. I win.
Or gun, sword, tiger?
Yeah, it's basically tigers all the way down.
Pretty much.
You guys... Oh, I was going to tell my Christmas story.
Yes. How was your Christmas, Austin?
What kind of sword did you get?
The best kind, which is none, because I'm in the year 2016. No, I'm kidding. I was planning on just chilling, just like eating Chinese food and watching Netflix all day, because all of my Tallahassee friends left to be with their cool families. But around 1 o'clock, my brother came in and woke me up, 1 p.m., because that's how late I was sleeping. And he was like, you got to come with me. We're going to my boss's house. So I got kidnapped and brought to I'm trying to think of a not dickish way to say so rich that you could stand on one end of the property and not see the other, and there was 4 buildings on this thing.
I think you nailed it.
That does it.
Like I thought we had left Tallahassee. I was like, where are we? And he's like, North Tallahassee? I was like, why does it look like we're in some kind of fucking Hunger Games, the capital? Like, Tallahassee is not a rich place. Like, I'm so uncomfortable with what was happening. People just had horses. Like, they had barns and horses next to their places of residences.
Austin,
anyway,
did they bring you there to hunt you?
I was kind of hoping that would have been fun. No, mostly what I did was sat and listened to them talk about alcohol, because my brother is a bartender and his boss is like a brewer or distiller. I don't know. They do alcohol stuff, so they just sat around and talked about alcohol for like 5 hours. But there were 3 dogs, and I petted them.
Oh.
Let me tell you about these dogs. There was a medium-sized one. He was very sleepy.
Were they
a large one.
They were pretty rich dogs, weren't they?
Oh, they were very bougie. These were some bougie-ass pups. There was a large dog who was very excited to see me. And then there was an even larger dog who was probably part bear. It was the largest dog I've ever seen in person, and he was perfect.
Did you get humped?
No.
I mean, not like in an aggressive way, but in a like, I want you to stay and be with me kind of way.
Please, it was a white Christian household.
Oh.
There was no humping allowed.
All right.
It was very staid. No, I mean, these people were perfectly nice. It seems like I'm talking shit. I was just my uncomfortableness. Like, there was a part in the day where I was like, I feel a panic attack coming on from 12 other people in here who make more in a day than I've made my entire life. I'm going to go outside. It was a lot, but, like, they were perfectly nice, and they had dogs, so that was pretty cool. What else? Because, dogs are good, obviously, is the thing that I think you should take from my entire podcast.
If they're good dogs.
They were very good. The one was wagging its tail so much, I was like, well, this is a disaster. It's going to hit something or someone. And it's just like a Christmas miracle. No one got clobbered by that tail.
So it was like a cudgel, this is the really big dog, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah. But, like, there was, like, smaller humans, kids, I think they're called, and, like, none of them got hit in the face, which seems just, like, statistically improbable. And just, like, nothing got knocked over tables. Everyone was very well behaved.
Right.
But I guess where I'm going with this is that I didn't know there was so much to talk about with alcohol. There was, like, 6 hours. They're like, yeah, well, this North Carolina yeast is, has a different earthy tone. And they're like, oh, these berries are very strong. And, like, it's like, I guess, like, I also talk about video games for hours, so I don't want to throw stones, but it's
enthusiast
a whole other thing.
Enthusiast culture is a very there's a teeter-totter that goes on.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're kind of climbing up one end, And you're sort of like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. The differences between, like Canadian whiskey and Scotch whiskey and bourbon and sour mash. And then the thing just tips. And you go rolling down into this, like, well, what kind of hops are you using? Oh, well, I find that if you use this particular kind of wheatgrass, and, well, it's honestly, I prefer to make my vodka out of grain as opposed to actual potatoes, even though you can... And it just, it goes deep.
I like my potatoes to state potatoes.
Those, there's, that whole genre of YouTube video where it's, people who talk about video games who sit in front of a wall of video games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that for alcohol, where over their hearth they had all of these knickknacks, which is it's 5 o'clock somewhere, it's beer o'clock. There's all their stuff in their house was alcohol themed, and then they had like I said, they had multiple buildings on this property, and I think one was just the beer shed.
Yeah.
Or something. The distillery. And there was classic car. There was 8 cars. No, there's more like 12 cars there when I got there. It was a culture shock, to say the least.
Yeah.
Even if I wasn't a weird, anxious little idiot. So Christmas was interesting for me. Not at all what I expected. But dogs. So
see, in my mind, if I went there, I'd be like, this is all amazing. Mm-hmm. And tonight I rob them at sword point.
Yeah, I actually made that joke when I saw what neighborhood I was in. I was like, "Oh, okay, so this is a heist. We're heisting. Cool. You should have just told me. I'm in for this heist." But no, because my brother's super into this alcohol stuff. I think I've talked about it before. He does his own brewing, and he does bartending as his day job. So he's in with these people, and he's trying to do it as a career. So I didn't want to mess it up. So I just sat there quietly and nodded and tried to behave and not be super weird. Mm-hmm. So I think I succeeded.
All right.
Woo!
Unless the second you left, they were like, that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because the friends I hang out with don't even wait until I leave. I'm a very talk about behind his backable kind of guy.
Oh.
What the hell is that dude up to? Why is he not doing the stuff we do? I don't know why not, guys.
All right.
So I have law stuff. I have 2016 stuff. Do you have any stuff? Bring your stuff.
I did have a thought today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very careful about choosing my friends. It takes a lot to let people in. You don't want just to open up your heart to anyone. That's why I really appreciate it when people put "Who is John Galt" bumper stickers on their cars, because I can just cross them right off that list. Nah, we're never gonna hang out. The search continues.
Yeah, it's nice when there's the reddest of flags.
What if it was a bumper sticker that says, "Who cares? Who is John Galt?"
Then I would have questions. Look, I want to explain more about this story, because I don't know if this reflects badly on me. I had just happened to park next to someone who had a bumper sticker that says, "Who is John Galt?" And I see these from time to time. And I always
Was it a billionaire industrialist?
No, it's just some noob.
Don't worry, Austin. Don't worry. He's going to get there someday. Just ignore the fact that he's driving a 12-year-old Camry that looks like it needs both its tires, one of the windshields replaced, and has garbage bag taped up in one of the rear one of the passenger windows.
No,
he'll get there.
But based on the look of his car, it was just some shithead who thinks that rich people have their back.
I'm trying not to be too political because I know it bums people out, and this is going to be a happy, shiny one. Or I'm trying.
Do people tell you that you being political bums you out?
That bums them out? Yeah, some people say thanks for not talking about it and stuff. Or, oh, I skipped a couple episodes because you guys were being downers and stuff. Some people like it. I don't want to, generalize, but...
nobody tells me nothing.
Yeah. I think they just don't want to hurt your feelings. They know I can take it.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
I was waiting for a biting comeback, any kind of witty repartee. You got You just
Nope.
you got
Nope.
you got it.
Okay.
No, people tell me things about how they enjoy me talking about trauma on the podcast, which is weird.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
you open up pretty hard, and that's but I mean that in a good way.
Pretty hard.
Pretty hard.
I try to open up pretty wide. I feel like that's the more helpful
I
direction
try to open up. I try to open up in like a circle. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
No, whenever I have to do something, whenever I am confronted with something to do that is deeply political on Renegade Cut, I think, okay, I'm just gonna do it no matter what, but I need to make sure I'm super right about everything because like if you make the slightest error, and even if it's like irrelevant to the larger point, people will fixate on that to use as evidence that you're wrong about everything else. So those episodes I don't shy away from them, but those are always harder because even though I fact check everything, I have to quadruple fact check everything there.
I understand the impulse though, because I definitely see a lot of people, let's say, who disagree with me on on the political spectrum who can't spell. And that always, it's definitely like confirmation bias of like, oh, they're idiots, and so I try to like be aware of that. But yeah, if someone's saying something you already disagree with, and then they get a fact wrong or say something stupid, you're like, well, obviously everything they're saying is stupid. I win. Mm-hmm. So I understand it. I get it.
Yeah, I guess that does make a little sense.
Yeah.
All
right. So I'm just gonna talk now until Leon stops me.
Okay. Like usual.
2016 was quite a thing in a number of ways. Let's try to be positive. All right.
Okay.
Let's start with a thing that I think you guys have the most to add to, which is video games. Did you guys play any really sweet 2016 video games that you wanted to recognize on this platform? None. Got it.
No. And I don't mean like I don't want to talk about it. I mean I haven't. I think Bastion came out like 5 years ago.
Quite a while ago, yeah.
Yeah. That's like forever ago in video games. So
yeah, I was an undergrad when that came out. I think like the objective, or as close as we can get there, game of the year is Overwatch. Like it's just so well made. It is like the new best of that thing. It's
pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, that's the thing Blizzard does. It's like, here's a genre, let's do everything they did right, and then just like add millions of dollars of polish. And they did it, so they kind of win. And also everyone in it's gay, which is nice.
Everyone.
They're slowly rolling that out. Yeah, like kind of one character at a time, I think. They're revealing that they're all gay. It's an interesting method they're going, but they'll get there. But it's not the game I enjoyed playing the most. So like my actual game of the year stuff is kind of, let's say, trashy. like I look at the games that I spend the most time with, and it's like Fire Emblem Fates, which is bad anime, and Pokemon, which is, a lot of people think it's the same game it's been for the last 20 years, and that's fine. Dark Souls 3, which is more Dark Souls. So I don't know how interesting any of those particular choices are, but I think it's important to realize like how lucky we were in this year that so many video games were good, especially ones that had no reason to be good. Like off the top of my head, Last Guardian, Final Fantasy 15, and Doom all looked terrible and came out to like pretty solid reviews.
Yeah.
Like everyone seems to be enjoying them, flaws and all. And I think that's cool. I think we got a lot of sequels to games that probably didn't deserve sequels, like Watch Dogs and Titanfall. Those games weren't good, the first ones, and the second ones are. I think we got like Call of Duty and Battlefield sequels, which were way better than they should have been. And then we got a bunch of like new shit, like Inside, The Witness, Oxenfree, Hyperlight Drifter, Stardew Valley. This was a good year for video games, and I just wanted to point that out because
Dishonored 2.
Yeah, Dishonored 2, XCOM 2. There's a lot of twos in there. Like this was a good year of sequels, I think.
Yeah, pretty much was.
And there's a lot of stuff I'm missing. Super Hot, obviously, super good. I haven't so much been in the VR thing, but there's reasons.
Well, Super Hot was a great game, like without VR.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the two games, Super Hot and Super Hot VR, are both like worthwhile experiences.
Yeah.
Didn't the new Deus Ex came out this year?
Yeah, that's true. It was a little bit when it came out. It was sort of like, this didn't work as well as it should, and there were things about it that weren't like great when compared to its immediate predecessor. But it was still decent. It put the effort in, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Uncharted 4, which I mean has kind of the same problems as the other Uncharted. If you don't like that kind of game, but for what it is, it's great. Darkest Dungeon, Severed. Just like there's a ton of good games. It's a good ass year for video games. My personal favorites are Pokemon and Fire Emblem because I'm a bad person. But even discounting that taste, like Overwatch, is very good and very gay. Thumbs up. Anybody else? Thoughts? Video games?
I didn't really play a whole lot of 2016 video games. Most of the 2016 video games I played were VR based. You know, like what am I thinking here?
Job Simulator.
Actually, I haven't played Job Simulator yet. Because that only became available for the Rift after the touch controllers came out. But I played I played Adrift, I played Dead Secret, Elite Dangerous, of course, but that's not really like a 2016 game. But I'm really impressed with how Elite Dangerous is doing their content updates. Because like every few months they have this like, I don't know, new thing that they're just kind of like adding to the world, and they're slowly introducing at least one alien race into everything, and it's just like, it's really mysterious if you see the way that they're doing it, where people are like coming across like transmitters in space that are fucking with people's ship systems and like cutting their electronics and then transmitting sounds that when you like run through analysis material like look like they're parts of maps and things like that, and just somebody found a graveyard on this moon, and like it's crazy fucking shit. But Keep Talking Nobody Explodes, Vanishing of Ethan Carter, some of the Oculus exclusives like Eve Valkyrie, Chronos. Yeah, like I spent a lot of time exploring the new tech this year while trying to, work my way through a number of old titles that I hadn't got my way through.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
that's my thing with movies. Like I watch more movies than any person should. Like just a hellacious amount of movies, but none of them came out this year.
Yeah, that was the thing is that I don't want to say things like, "Ooh, Super Hot VR was one of my games of the year," because it's like that's sort of like, too bad you can't play it.
Yeah.
It was really fun and interesting, and there's no comparative benchmark either. There's no way for me to say, well, obviously this is the best it's gonna get. Like, this was a true work of genius, because I think No Man's Sky got a bad rap.
I think we could go into it more, but I think if it would have been a $20 early access game without a major publisher, people would have been fair to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It came out $60 with the Sony push, and it seemed like an enormous travesty. Yeah. It's fine for whatever it is.
Yeah, but I mean, when you like to think about the development, to think about, I'm sure what they wanted to make the game, and I'm sure pressure from Sony to actually get it out the door too.
Or nothing from Sony. What I heard is basically that Sony just put a lot of money into marketing it, and then just kind of sat on their hands and didn't do any of the message control they probably should have to make it.
Well, but the thing is that I'm willing to bet you they got in contact with Hello Games and said, "Listen, this has to come out now. Do you know how much money we've spent on making this game look good?"
That's harsh, especially after like their offices flooded and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it was ready when it came out. I think that was a patch job. But I still kind of enjoyed it, But I think because I was aware that it wasn't going to be everything.
Yeah. Expectations dictate a lot of how people feel about that, I feel.
Yeah. So, I don't know. There's a lot of games that came out this year that I was really interested in playing that I never got around to. Hitman, Dishonored 2, Doom.
We almost got away without talking about Hitman. Holy shit, that game.
It's like when I saw their release schedule, what they were planning to do with it, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
All right, so you're digging the grave to put Hitman in.
Seriously, I said this on Twitter, but my number one film of 2016 is Giant Bomb playing a Hitman. Vinny Caravella's fucking Hitman run from Christmas is the stuff of legends. It took him like an hour to get the right costume and the right weapon. He goes up onto a 3-story building and then just flips the knife off the building. Oh my god. It is, it's so awful. In a great way. And just the part where he's sneaking up. I know I'm just explaining a video now, but there's a part where he's sneaking up a stairwell with a fire axe, and Dan Reichert's like, there's only one guy on the other side of the door. Just axe him and you're golden. And he kicks the door down, runs in, and there's a fucking huge crowd of people. There's like 100 people. And he just runs in and jams the axe in the first dude's head, and everyone starts screaming. That's my film of the year. It's so good. Hitman. We don't deserve that game. Oh, dear. Do you have any 2016 movies that you want to talk about, Johnny? Because I'm looking over the ones I've seen this year, and most of them are disappointing or just didn't leave an impact.
Man, I don't...
Ghostbusters, Neon Demon.
Yeah, didn't
Captain
see
America,
either of those.
Civil War.
What was the last one?
Captain America Civil War.
I liked it.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I had a lot of fun watching it. But then again, I was also watching it like in a crowd full of people wearing like Captain America and Iron Man T-shirts.
Dweebs.
Yeah,
I think they earned it. But go on, Leon.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I enjoyed it, like the movie in and of itself, but I can't help but think that the atmosphere certainly gave an assist to it. Enthusiasm is infectious.
Yeah,
like when Chris Evans like. Held the helicopter and held onto the railing and just looked so jacked, and everyone in the crowd was started swooning, and Jess was sitting next to me and she had a reaction.
You almost said erection, and you did.
I did. I said nothing of the sort.
You definitely said erection.
I did not.
Yeah, that movie was fine. Like, I don't love it, but it's definitely, the main competition this year in the superhero film genre.
Oh yeah,
not particularly strong.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I've sort of realized that I'm not a huge fan of superhero movies, as it turns out. It's just something I'm coming to realize only lately. But I thought Captain America Civil War was probably the best one of the past couple of years. Though it is not like best picture quality. Yeah. It is like it's hard to say that it's not fun. Well, it's a very fun movie.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with it being the best in the last couple of years, because I also have on the list of films I saw this year Deadpool. And I think I actually like Deadpool more than Captain America, which maybe sounds stupid, but I just think
no, it's okay.
The people who made it just seemed like they cared a lot more. Like, they just had fun. Like, they were just like, I like this character. Let's just do it.
I thought it was poop.
Captain America was more like, we have to advance this universe. We need to set up these characters, and then we need to have a reason for them to do this stuff in the next movie. It was just, like, more mechanical, where Deadpool was just like, let's just get weird with it.
Okay. Well, that's fine. And, I mean, if you liked it, you liked it. I thought I came out of it was like, that was fine. That it did not. It made me laugh, I think, once, but I don't remember what it was. And the story itself, although it's like the fact that it's rated R, I think it's making people say like, "Wow, this is a breakthrough." It's like, no, it's the same plot as all the others. a bald villain he doesn't like the hero, and he has a girlfriend, but they can't entirely be together, and that's it.
Ooh.
I've also found Zootopia doing the opposite of growing on me. I don't know what the phrase is for that. Like, I just find
of you.
I just find it like less resonant as time goes on, because it's like people are prejudiced because of like backstory. It's like, no, sometimes people are just fucking shitty, and they just are, and you just can't do anything about it because the world is a hate tornado, and like Zootopia just doesn't leave any room for that. I understand why you wanted to add, like, I don't know, it just, maybe it's me, but like, as that movie missed an opportunity to just be like, some people are gross and should be denounced.
I did see some movies that I really, really liked this year. Arrival.
Okay. Shit, yeah.
I like Villeneuve's Arrival. The Nice Guys. And Hail Caesar.
Oh, that's a very good one.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those.
I was very, very, very pleased with all of those. Because, I mean, in the first place, Arrival, I mean, I haven't seen Villeneuve make a bad movie yet.
Yeah.
The Nice Guys, Shane Black. As far as I'm concerned, The Nice Guys is kind of like the weird, unofficial prequel to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Like, it's got the same kind of, like, energy, the same humor, the same... it's just... And the cast is phenomenal. And, I mean, Hail Caesar... Can you go wrong with the Coen brothers? There was, I think, one movie I've seen the Coen brothers do that I was like, what? Okay.
All right.
And I can't even remember what it was called.
Oh, what was the plot? Because I know them.
It was George Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, Intolerable Cruelty.
There you go. Thank you.
That was actually really impressive. It's just like, I know that. I was like, George Clooney, well, he's been in a couple. Nope, he just got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm looking at my list. I saw about 60 movies this year in terms of new releases, but I saw like, another 60 old releases. Well, probably more than that, really. But I don't want to, like I said, I'm saving it. But
that's where you're gonna need to go for the strong movie opinions. I'm not a movie critic.
Okay, all right.
Shows.
I barely am. I just talk about Nietzsche, and stuff.
But I don't feel that way about video. Like, I feel like, maybe this is arrogant, but I feel like I'm an expert on video games. I feel like when I talk about them, I come from like a place of relative authority, and I don't know if that speaks more to me, but like, I have played thousands of video games.
Sure have.
And
I believe you.
But like, compare that to like my film stuff, like definitely more than average, but I don't put as much stock into those opinions.
Okay.
So all right. What about best Netflix?
Stranger Things is what everyone's gonna say, right?
Yeah, yes. But I mean,
in terms of like new,
yeah.
Because it's tough to say like best TV series, like.
Yeah, because a lot of them are continuing from, like, does it count if it's, like, season 6?
Yeah, and, you had a really strong first season, and since then you've just kind of been like, hang on, we can hold this altitude.
In terms of new shows, Atlanta is very, very good.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I've only seen a couple of episodes, but I love them.
Yeah, they're real good. I just started watching the show Search Party, which is also said to be quite good. I watched the first episode and loved it, so I'll probably be watching the rest. It's like a comedy on TBS that feels like it should be on like premium cable. So we'll see. But I have a good feeling about it.
Cool. So that's video games, film, and television down. We're almost done. Now Leon's least favorite part, music. Johnny?
Yeah.
I think you're our most musically... what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say gifted, but that makes it sound like you're very good at music, and I'm sure you're fine, but you're fluent. Fluent is the word I was looking for.
You have multiple instruments.
Yeah. Do you have like anything prepared? Any thoughts?
I don't have anything prepared, but give me just a moment here to...
Okay. Well, I want to go in here because I definitely have a top 3 like locked for real, though.
All right, do it.
Number 3, David Bowie, Black Star. That's not like the fact that he died like 2 days after it came out definitely intensifies it.
Yeah.
Like it reflects on it because it's about death. But even if that didn't happen, it's a very good record. Like, I don't want it to seem like one of those like lifetime achievement Oscars where they give it to you for like a bad movie because you did a good movie a long time ago they didn't recognize. Like Black Star is very, very good.
Yeah.
Number 2, and this is crazy because they waited until literally Christmas Eve to drop this, and I'm sure that blew up everybody's album of the year lists and made them meaningless. Run the Jewels 3. Best rap duo of all time, or at least in the conversation, killing it on every track. Zach De La Rocha came in at the end, just killer, whole thing. And number 1, and I think this is the most number 1 anything's ever been on any list I've ever made. Video games, film, music, nothing's ever been as number 1. Mm-hmm. It's just, this might be top 3 of best albums of all time, period. Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper. He, like I'm getting choked up.
Wow. All right.
It's a gospel hip hop album, which is a thing Kanye also tried to do this year and didn't really succeed at on Life of Pablo. Although on the lead single of that album, Ultralight Beams, Chance shows up and totally kills it. He's everywhere. He also released a Christmas album this year that's super good, and he's on the Hamilton mixtape. Like, Chance is everywhere. And just like the most exciting artist going on right now. But Coloring Book is about everything I'm trying to bring to this show right now, like positivity and thankfulness. It's about like Christianity as a way to appreciate the world. And like we talk about bad Christian art a lot, your Left Behinds and your God's Not Deads, and the way that people use like religion as a weapon of like homophobia and hate and stuff. But like this is all the reasons why it can still be a force of good and relevance. And it's hard to explain without like going in like track by track, because they have fucking 2 Chainz is on there, Dram's on there, they've got a gospel choir. Like, it's just the most uplifting, affirmative, like celebration of like life and family and everything that makes you want to make art. Like, he's the only person making music right now who's like, hey, it's really cool to be an artist. I love it. Here's my art. Do you like it as well? Like, let's like it together. It's just amazing. I can't say enough good things about it. And I think, like, this year, a lot of bands I was expecting to do cool stuff didn't. Like the new Avenged Sevenfold, Green Day, Metallica, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Wolfmother. Like, they all kind of put out boring or bad albums. It was a very bad year for metal, I think. The only thing that even comes to mind as being good is like Opeth's Sorceress and Gore by Deftones, if you consider that metal. But hip-hop was amazing. Beyonce had Lemonade. Solange had her, I think it's called Seat at the Table. There's Frank Ocean. Like, the R&B, hip-hop, rap game is super good right now. Don't sleep on it. And don't be put off by like the Christian stuff if you're not into that. Like, you can still take it as like just for like the message, the positivity and the appreciation and the humbleness that's on this is just like transformative. So Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper. Yes, I named a character in Dice Funk after him. Very good.
Yep.
I'm done.
Okay.
I want to say something about A Moon-Shaped Pool.
Yeah.
You know, every time I hear a new Radiohead record, I always think, okay, what now? You know, like what next? Because I keep waiting for that moment when their next thing just sounds like them settling into a groove. But A Moon-Shaped Pool kind of hit me. In a weird way. Like a lot of it's sounded to me like garbled narrative. Like almost like James Joyce. Where it was almost pure experience as opposed to trying to adequately describe something to someone else so that they can understand it. Just this like
stream of consciousness.
Not like, I mean, stream of consciousness is usually so messy, but whereas like the melody and all the instrumentation in A Moon-Shaped Pool, I felt was kind of messy. Like a lot of the vocals, really, they were just kind of like, yeah, that's Radiohead, you know.
Yeah. I think "Burn the Witch" is my new favorite Radiohead song. Like, that album didn't hit me as hard as it hit you, I think, but that song, like, I've been thinking about the phrase "low-flying panic attack" a lot.
Yeah. Part of it too is that the final version that they put on A Moon-Shaped Pool of "True Love Waits."
Important.
Because I've heard them perform that live. I've heard them perform it live with like basically based around an acoustic guitar, and just hearing the difference between that song that I've been familiar with, which it has been around for years. I just want to see, like, yeah, 2001. It was on the live recordings of the song of the album I Might Be Wrong. And it's
that
like,
song has went on a journey with them for 15 years.
Yeah. And hearing this final version of this song, even saying final version is like, okay, well, like, maybe it's not finalized. Maybe there's no such thing as a final version. You know, maybe art and life develops and evolves, and the way we see it, and the way we feel about it, and the way that changes. And I don't know, it makes me more and more and more curious about their writing process, and about their art, and about whether or not how I feel, how their music gets me to feel, is the reaction they wanted to elicit. If they're even interested in eliciting reaction, or if they can't just do anything except make art anymore. Spencer Krug put out a new album this year, Moonface with At Sinai. But that's like, I mean, I loves him. I loves him so much. It's not my favorite work of his, but there's a couple of songs on there that just like, that just absolutely get to me. Risto's Riff, the full band version of City Wrecker. Who else? I'm totally with you on David Bowie. David Bowie is absolutely, just like, that album rearranged me in a couple of ways.
Yeah, I thought Time would like dull it or something. Like, I would be like, get over its like power, and it just like it hasn't happened at all.
No, it was a very powerful, very powerful.
Yeah.
What is it like to feel ways about things? No, that's about that's. No, I'm sorry. No, that's the way I feel about some movies. But like I wish I had another outlet. Trying. Yeah.
It's a constantly in flux too, because I talked before about how like I used to be a lot more into metal, and like the older I get, the harder it is to fit that into my life. Mm-hmm. Like, it's hard to be in that headspace because I usually like listen to it like lifting weights or whatever, like going out to play football, and it's like I don't do that stuff anymore. So like Meshuggah and Gojira had new albums, but I'm not just gonna sit in my room and listen to that. What kind of person just like it's just not like I don't know. Like, there's headspaces and there's phases. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. So it's like, I bet there's music that could move you, Leon. I just think a context might be it. Like, maybe live music does it for you. Or something.
I've got two more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mogwai, big favorite of mine. I don't know if you listen to Mogwai, Austin.
Not often.
But they released, it was a soundtrack, actually. It was a soundtrack this year called Atomic. I'm trying to remember. I mean, the movie may have been called Atomic. So give me a second here. Music was originally composed for Mark Cousins' documentary Atomic: Living in Dread and Promise. And the documentary is all about like the atomic age, more or less. In fact, most of the songs are actually named after things involving atomic either tragedy or triumph. Songs like Pripyat, Little Boy, and Fat Man. Yeah, I really, really liked Atomic. Just this Mogwai at its best, and like the best they've have been in years. They released an album back in 2015, I think it was. Might have been 2014, called Rave Tapes, which was like one of my favorite Mogwai albums in years. The other one I wanted to mention was Shearwater's Jet Plane and Oxbow. Shearwater's always kind of existed in the shadow of Ockerville River, because the Shearwater band leader, John Myberg, was a member of Ockerville River, and Shearwater was originally formed by him and Will Sheff, lead singer of Ockerville River, to kind of write music that wasn't really Ockerville River. But as time went on, Myberg started writing more and more of the music on its own, and Jet Plane and Oxbow is just like one of the best examples I can think of why two people who were core members of a band should have split at one point in time. Because hearing him move in these different directions, these new directions, is so... Like, I can't imagine not having been able to have accessed this material if he had stayed with Ockerville River. And it's interesting because Ockerville River did release an album this year called Away, that may be one of their most potent releases, but I don't even know if I would say it was one of my first records, my favorite, records of the year.
Yeah,
because I sort of feel bound by my love for them, but I don't know. Maybe I need to listen to that more. So,
yeah. Also, shout out to Disaster Piece, who did the soundtrack to Hyper Light Drifter. You probably know them as the people who did the soundtracks to Fez and It Follows.
Yeah.
Still killing it year after year.
Leon, I'll find some music that helps you feel.
We'll see.
Do you guys want to do questions?
Sure,
yeah.
Said it.
All right. Silent Wind of Doom asks, how far in advance do you ask these questions? The ask for questions. How do we know if a question is cut for time or because you don't want to do it?
I think that's all you, Austin.
That's 100% me. I ask around noon on Wednesday. We record at 9 on Wednesday. So there's like a 9-hour window. I'm sorry if that's inconvenient.
Noon Eastern Standard Time, everybody.
Yep.
The
Correct.
best one.
We already get more than we can answer, so if it's inconvenient, I apologize. But opening it up is just going to mean more people are left out. That's like the most convenient way of doing this. I don't think you will know if a question is cut for time or because I don't want to do it. I just try to ask whichever ones seem like they give us the most to talk about. It's not a value judgment. Also, we get a lot of repeats. Like a lot of people ask, like, "What's your JoJo stand?" or your Steven Universe Gem Sona, and like we've already done those, and I'm thrilled that you guys are interested, but I don't want to bore people with repeat questions, so I just try to grab whatever jumps out at me. That's that question. So
there you go.
Wednesdays, throw them out there. Don't take it personally. I love all of you. Cyretha asks, when you die, do you have plans for your body? Cremation, donation to science, etc. Let's get dark and deep here, guys.
I'm an organ donor, so there is that.
Same here.
I have no I don't think I have any plans. Who would mourn the Leon? I don't know. Like if I had a choice, I would probably just like whatever is most useful. Just like if people want to use my cadaver for stuff, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Once I'm done with it, who cares?
Yeah.
I'm Zoroastrian. Just throw mine out on the top of the mountain, let the vultures have it.
Cool.
That's actually like the religious right for them.
Awesome.
In case you didn't know.
They got it all figured out.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me, I guess, is the answer to that question.
I want my fluids on a canvas.
Make art out of Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Make art.
So here's another good. Cyretha coming in with many good questions this week.
Oh.
Should the 90s cartoon Street Sharks get a reboot? TV or film? Who should be cast to play the sharks? Vin Diesel? All of them.
Hang on. First of all, Austin.
Yeah.
Should. No.
Yes.
No.
Wrong. You're wrong.
No.
But will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually just asked this question as an excuse to talk about Street Sharks. Because are you guys aware of the great Street Sharks debacle?
There's only one.
Besides the show itself.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So the problem is that you're calling it the Great Street Shark debacle. I think for something to be a great debacle, everybody should be able to be like, oh yeah, that. So I think what you're talking about right now is the low to middling Street Shark debacle.
Okay, so if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, prepare to have your mind blown, because there's this thing that happened about Street Sharks, and it cracks me up every time I think about it, which is that somebody went in like years ago. I just pulled up an article about it here. It's very long, so I don't want to read the whole thing. But someone went into the Street Sharks wiki and added a character that didn't exist. A female street shark, and they like filled out like a bunch of data and like episode references, and they left it there for like I guess years, to the point where people would like reference it and talk about it and have memories, be like, oh, remember that time that shark did that thing, and like it became part of the fandom. Like everyone just got Berenstain Bared by this I guess like a hoax, I guess. But then they wrote this article about it, and like now everyone knows it's fake. But like, what is reality?
Well, was it ever released on before like the reveal? Was it ever released on DVD or Blu-ray? Because that's important.
That's a good question. I guess I could just Amazon Street Sharks.
Austin,
hold on.
Your mission, whether or not you choose to accept it, is to find access to the entirety of the Street Sharks oeuvre.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
watch the whole thing from start to finish. And brief us, all right?
Yeah, because it's like I watched the show David the Gnome when I was young, and it was great, and I have memories of it. But if like I'm talking about it with someone, and someone said, "Hey, remember the episode with the swan?" I don't, and I don't know if there is one, but I would probably be like, "Yeah, that sounds like something that probably happened," because that's what
crazy.
I mean, I wouldn't be. I like, yeah, of course I do. Everyone remembers the swan, but I'd be like. It sounds like it might be familiar.
Human memory is garbage. I just found on Amazon Street Sharks, the complete 40-episode series for $7.02.
Nice.
You know what you have to do.
This DVD collection came out in 2013.
Okay.
And the hoax was revealed in 2016, this year. This article about it also reveals that Vin Diesel once did a commercial for Street Sharks in which he referred to them as round mounds of pound. So
I have seen that.
Take that to your grave. I didn't actually remember that Vin Diesel thing when I said Vin Diesel earlier.
Yeah, it wasn't a commercial. It was like a marketing video.
God, so strange. But
They're not that round.
The toys were round.
Oh, okay.
They weren't like fully anthropomorphic. He was like holding a round toy.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense now.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks like this person edited the wiki in like 2003. This is like a 13-year grift. Hold on. This is bananas. I'm just going to drop the link in our chat and probably tweet it on Twitter, so if you guys want to see it. But Street Sharks is a whole thing. and I can't believe we as a culture let it happen.
Look, I didn't have any say at the time.
That's true. Yeah, the article is titled "How I Used Lies About a Cartoon to Prove History is Meaningless." But that is Street Sharks. Yeah. We also got a bunch of questions we already answered. People said, Jade said favorite movie of 2016. Himmelslaub said favorite album of 2016. We already beat you to it, guys. Yeah. Get your game up. Irving Royale asks, favorite memory of 2016. Additionally, what is your favorite meme of 2016? Is that the kind of audience that we've gathered around us that think we have strong opinions about memes now?
I can't remember what the memes are.
That again, frog riding the unicycle. Oh shit! What up? I like that guy.
I can't remember when that was. And that's I don't remember where any of these memes are.
I prefer not to date memes because they have a tendency of showing up like 5 years ago, and then suddenly somebody just references it, and then it becomes a thing.
Suddenly memes.
Yeah.
Bright Marsh asks, best Pokemon trade you ever did? I think that one's for me.
No, I think the best Pokemon trade I ever did was not play it, and then somebody was like, you should play it, and then lent me their, Game Boy Advance or whatever it was, and the Pokemon games.
The global trading system they've added to the recent Pokemon
Trevor
games.
and I were friends for life.
Trading is so easy now. Like, you can just trade for anything at any time. If you check often enough. I got like a full IV Ditto last gen, and it's like, well, I guess I don't need to really work on breeding anymore. My Ditto is just gonna fuck everyone to excellence. Pokemon's weird.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But yeah, anything that gets you a 6 perfect IV Ditto is the trade you want to make. Any other trade is pointless. Get that happening. PSVR Heaven Chai asks, has Leon played any more gay games? Leon.
What was the first one? What was the first gay game that I allegedly played?
Allegedly. I'm trying to remember now. Did you play it?
No, because I don't remember. I remember we talked about gay games, but I don't remember what gay game.
Yeah, because we talked about Stick Shift and all those Yang games. I don't remember. I guess the question is, have you played any gay games that you can recall?
Yeah.
Gone Home. Gone Home. I played Gone Home, and that was
that's
got
right. Yeah.
That's what started that. No, I played Gone Home, and then I can't remember. Look, I didn't play a lot of games. I'm very sorry. I don't really do games very much. Sorry.
We're gonna make you do it.
Okay.
Slowly but surely, we're gonna reform you.
It's the gay agenda, Leon.
It is.
Even though I guess technically neither Austin and I are gay.
Yet.
Oh my God.
Overwatch 2017.
That's how deep it runs.
Yeah. Brent asks, will you sign my petition to rename Bloodborne Ferocious Beasts and Where to Fight Them? That's not a question. It's just a good joke. If you send in a good enough joke, I'll read it.
Yeah.
That's not actually. I probably shouldn't say that because then they're all gonna send in your jokes.
I'm okay with that. Let's just let them make the funny. I can't think of jokes every week. I think of one joke and then I'm done.
That does lighten our burden.
This week it was the one about John Galt, and that's it. I'm done now.
Wait, was that a joke or did that happen?
No, that literally happened. But I was like, I bet I can craft this story into a way that it sounds like it has a punchline.
Drunken Elf Mage wants to know, what modern movie trends do you hope there will be more of in 2017? This is a very Leon question.
It is. I don't know. I don't know why I made that sound.
I would like to say more down to earth horror.
Yeah.
And what I mean by down to earth horror is horror that's not like super stabby, gory, gross. Mm-hmm. But horror that's more like oh, hey, look, it's sort of like a regular thing that you can actually believe sort of exists. Like, the Babadook wasn't... I can't remember. Was it 2016?
That was last. That was
No.
Last year.
But, Babadook, It Follows. There are these slightly more... just realistic setting horror movies that I'm really enjoying lately.
People call it the art house horror movement. That is what that is called.
I mean, if that's what you want to call it, yeah, sure. But I mean, like
I didn't invent it. I'm saying that is what people have been calling it.
okay, cool. But like previously, horror movies like had got kind of ridiculous for me. Mm-hmm. The whole like gore porn movement. Hey, it's a bunch of rich 20-somethings. We're all vacationing in this exotic tropical location. Oh no, everybody's getting butchered now. Like, I'm not fucking scared about, traveling off to Ibiza and then, being seduced into a, like, horrible, like, torture dungeon. I'm scared about what's going to happen to me down the street.
Yeah.
Realistic is one thing, but when I think of like It Follows, Babadook, The Witch, my favorite horror movies, what they have in common is that they have such strong thematic work going on about like It Follows talk about like inevitability and death and aging and sex, and Babadook is like grief and processing and all that stuff. Like that is what makes them so much more interesting than like Jason or Freddy, which I do enjoy those movies. They're just different and such, like they might both be horror, but they might as well not be the same genre.
I just mean horror that's slightly more grounded in day-to-day life, like something that despite how weird and fantastical and strange it might seem, might actually happen to you, because it's just sort of like, oh well, this is how it happens. You walk down the street and you meet the wrong person.
Yeah, I too feel like I'm being followed by a sex monster.
Like Green Room, which I apparently someone said this to me, I think on social media, I referred to as an action movie when we talked about it. It's definitely supposed to be a horror movie. I'm just totally desensitized to people cutting each other up.
I'll echo Johnny's comment about horror. I do want to say that I'm enjoying the like minor Western revival, although I have not seen that Magnificent Seven remake. I'm talking about recent movies like Bone Tomahawk and In the Valley of Violence and Hateful Eight and hopefully some others that are coming. And there's another that's coming up soon. I think it's called Brimstone. I might check that out. But I'm liking that that's a thing now, or not a huge thing, but an option now.
Yeah.
Where that is a thing that can be made and funded.
Yeah, Slow West and True Grit are probably my favorites of those.
Slow West is very, very good.
Appaloosa was really, really good. Did you guys see Appaloosa?
I have not.
No.
You should.
Okay.
It's a little older for the whole Western thing, but I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Time for one more?
Sure, why not? Who's going
to
stop us?
Yeah. Dash Away Sean, Funk Dunk on Twitter, which is also the podcast that they do on our community situation, the forums and stuff, asks, what is the worst workplace break room sin? What is the worst thing you can do up in that break room, boys?
What?
I think like eating people's sandwiches, like
okay.
Not just like
what are
gluttony.
What are people doing in there?
Lust.
I don't know.
I'm very prideful.
I was in the bathroom at my work not too long ago, and instead of someone, normally what I do when just to make sure I'm not walking in on someone, I knock, and if someone says occupied, and I was like, okay, well, I'll come back in 5 minutes and we'll see what we see. And that's typically what people do. But I was in there and someone like just started like banging on the door, like real hard. I'm like, I'm in here. You don't have to do that. And when I got out of there, on my own time, I was like, you can just knock, and it got no response. It's like, I'm sorry, but you're just gonna have to like have better bowels or something. Like, I'm not going to take long. I'm in and out in a minute. Like, this is not a big thing.
Leon's break room tip: have better bowels.
Right. Why does everyone take so long in the bathroom? I don't get it.
Leon's excretion game is so fucking tight. He's just got it all down. He's got like a tight 5.
I could never understand why people were like, "Well, I'm going to the bathroom. I got to bring the newspaper or magazine." I'm like, "What is taking you so long? Like, what is the matter with you?"
Leon, your body is a wonderland. It's a mystery. It is an elusive creature.
Thank you. Anyone else have an answer to this, or do we want to end on my body?
Some time ago.
Okay.
Oh God.
I tweeted a picture. But as an intro, it's not uncommon for people at my workplace to do things like bake a cake or cupcakes or like banana bread or something, and then they'll like, bring it into the break room and be like, "Hey, I baked banana bread. Everybody have a piece," right? So that's something that happens. There's a few bakers at my place. And one day I walked into the break room and there was, very unceremoniously, just a sheet of paper towel on the table that we have there. And somebody had scattered about, I think, 6 Thai chilies just on the paper towel, right? And they weren't wrapped up. They weren't like in a container or anything like that. But somebody had written on the paper towel, "free hot peppers." And it was kind of like, okay. I mean, banana bread I get, because you go in, you pour a cup of coffee, and be like, "Oh, some like freshly homemade banana bread with a cup of coffee. That sounds great. That's nice." Free hot peppers. He's like, "I was gonna throw these out, but if you want them, take them."
Are you sure it wasn't a political thing? Like free hot peppers?
No, it was not a political thing. There were,
or like his rap name, like Free Peppers, MC Free Peppers,
No.
was imprisoned for terrible crimes.
No.
Johnny, I find that very suspicious. Like, if I found that, like, where like in the break room,
yeah,
I'd be like, when is Wile E. Coyote gonna jump out and get me?
It doesn't land, right? Because it's not like you didn't do anything for someone. You're not like, "I baked this thing so that you guys might enjoy it." It's not even like, "Hey, everybody, I made too much, like, Thai curry style last night. You can have some if you want. It's in the fridge." It's like somebody literally was in their fridge the night before and was like, "I'm not going to use these. I guess I'll just pawn them off to somebody at work."
He was going to do some shenanigans and lost the nerve. They're like,
I no idea, but that's just sort of like, like, were you trying to do me a favor? Because, if I needed hot peppers tonight, I was probably just going to go and buy my own. And this isn't something I can be like, "Hey, cup of coffee and a hot pepper, fantastic, my morning is set." Although that might explain Leon's question about other people in the bathroom.
yeah.
Yep.
Maybe this is a thing you guys just haven't been informed of.
Okay. Well, all right.
I just never worked in a place with a break room, so.
I'm finding that, like, now that I only work, my, like, Joe job one day a week, I don't hate it as much, because, like, halfway through the day, I'm like, I'm almost done, and then I'm not here for another week. So,
Yeah,
I feel like that's a good thing that's going on that happened for me in 2016. I'm basically financially independent. I just go there because it's nice to have extra money, and it's something to do.
I'm gonna have to pick up another job probably. It's a whole thing. Guys, I got to get a car because nobody's going to take a lawyer seriously who shows up on the fucking bus like half an hour late because buses are not reliable.
I'm bus lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm bus lawyer.
That's why you budget to arrive an hour beforehand.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to get any sleep anyway. Might as well just lean into it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's 2018. 2017, maybe Austin's problem. For now, we're done with this one, guys. We did it.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah. When will we talk next? Will it be 2017? Yes.
I guess.
The 3rd.
Yes, it will.
We've done it.
That's the episode where we're gonna have to do it, and then I have to immediately edit because the morning after I'm going to MagFest, so I will be unavailable for days. So you're gonna get Word Funk, like a hot take of it, everyone. But that's next week, so we'll see what happens.
Alrighty, another one down. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out with us, letting us know, sending us questions, doing all kinds of cool shit. I think we talked about on Thanksgiving how thankful we are for all of this, but it's worth repeating.
Yeah.
One of the high points of my week.
Yeah. Tell us about your bells, everyone. Let that be a topic.
Need those bowel reports on my desk. In the break room. Bye.